What's going on, Jerome's? 1 week of NFL action is in the books, and there's some contenders, there are some pretenders, and there's definitely some teams on forward watch. But here are 10 NFL storylines, and we're going to determine if they're true or if they're false. Number one, Belichick to the Giants. Now, I know a lot of people make the connections here because Belichick was a great defensive coordinator with the Giants before he got the Browns head coaching job back in the day. A connection with the Giants and the 30 for 30, the two Bills. Like, obviously, he has a love and affection for the Giants still. They are one of the tentpole franchises in the National Football League, and they've had some tough times. But Belichick is 72, I believe, and obviously, you've seen that he's been having some fun, right? And I think that he honestly is too old for a rebuild because the Giants are going to have a hard reset. Because think about who on this team should still be around. Like Andrew Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Dexter Lawrence, Tyler Nubin, and Brian Burns. That's it. Five. I don't think that Belichick has the patience or the time, not saying he's going to kick it, but is he going to be coaching into his 80s? Or he's going to be 75 before this team is anywhere close to relevant again. All right, so that does have to factor in. Also, I think that Belichick is going to get he's going to get used to that good life in the media. Same thing's happening to Saban. Saban is never coming back to coaching, right? It's like the Mongols. Like, they were hard scrabble people from the steppe, nomadic horse archers, and then once they got a little bit settled, once they got into the flesh pots of China, they had to rotate them out because they got a little bit too soft. I think Belichick, you can tell he's having a good time on these TV shows, on these podcasts, talking about football. He's on the Manning cast and all that stuff. So I am actually going to say that this is false. I know the Giants will probably want this. I don't think that Belichick would want this at this point. Next, number two, Panthers are on the clock. This is absolutely true. I feel bad for our boy Adam Thielen because this is going to be another terrible season. And the Panthers, technically should have had the number one pick last year. Obviously, that went to the Bears. But the Panthers, they're going to be on that clock again, and they're going to have to make a decision on Bryce Young. And this is not, at this moment in time, a tier 1 quarterback class, but guys could rise and fall, whether it's Quinn Ewers, whether it's Cam Ward, whether it's Miller Moss, whether it's whoever. But, I mean, they could be looking for a quarterback very soon. Number 3, the Jets will be fine. That's false, right? And I know that Aaron Rodgers had 2 nice drives, but overall, it just wasn't there. The offensive line having some issues as well. Plus, that defense, I mean, that's supposed to be the hallmark of the Jets and our guy Rob Salah, but consistently they couldn't get a pass rush. Their front seven was getting pushed around all damn day long by the 49ers, and the Niners are good, don't get me wrong, but I don't think the Jets were even in the same universe in terms of being stout up front. So I think the Jets are going to have some problems, and I think that Rodgers is going to have to try and play hero ball, and I don't think that he has that in him at this stage of his career. And also, I think that he's sort of checked out with all these other things going on off the field. Number 4, the Packers are cooked. True. Because even though Jordan Love, he was able to not have the major knee injury, MCL 3 to 6 weeks, I think that there's a lot of other issues with the Packers that are coming to the forefront, right? So their offensive line, they got a couple of studs. I love me some Zach Tom, love me some Elton Jenkins, but the rest of it, Josh Jacobs, can you rely on him to be your true running back 1? Can he be the bell cow? Or hopefully Marshawn Lloyd is going to be back for them soon. And then the whole thing is hey, we have 17 wide receiver 3s. Okay, well, Jaden Reed is a wide receiver 1. Well, what about everyone else? Who else is going to step up? And defensively, I think this defense could be as bad as last season's, maybe even worse. Like you have Rashawn Gary against the world. That's basically it, man. And they have a lot of young guys. Maybe Edgerrin Cooper can step up. Quay Walker is washed. Jair Alexander is definitely overhyped and overrated. But, I mean, Xavier McKinney is solid, but I don't know, man. But I think that without Love, for the next 3 to 6 weeks, I think that's going to put them behind the 8 ball, and I don't think that they're going to be able to catch up. Also, one of the best things about Love is his mobility and ability to make things happening outside the pocket. And also, if he's immobile when he comes back, it's not going to help out his offensive line either. Next up, number 5. Speaking of not helping out his offensive line, the Falcons should start Penix. It's absolutely true, right? Where Kirk Cousins, he's not healthy, right? He has zero velocity on his throws because he's not pushing off his right foot, which was his Achilles that he had repaired. But I understand why the Falcons have to roll him out there, because they would be massacred in the fan base if it turns out that they just paid $100 million guaranteed to a guy who literally can't play. And I obviously we have our thoughts about Kurt, but I honestly feel a little bit bad for him, even though he's got the money. Steve Miller Band took the money and ran. But also, I mean, Falcons fans, you were sold a bill of goods. You sold. It's just rough, but Penix would give you a fighting chance. Penix is so. Also, I think Penix's experience and maturity could certainly help them out the gate. He's a dynamic down the field playmaker, and I love Michael Penix, man. Plus, he's 24, so you may as well kickstart the Penix era right now. Number 6, the Niners are fine without Christian McCaffrey. True. Now, Jordan is fantastic. Like, he will punch you in the face, and that's I think that's what the Niners want to do. Like, they're at heart, they're a power football team, even with Ayuk and Debo and stuff all out there. Like, they just want to run the ball and then play some decent defense, and they'll be good to go in that regard. And also, they do have a bunch of other players that can fill that McCaffrey receiver role, whether it's Juszczyk or Kittle or Debo, whatever. So, Niners are going to be tough. I mean, respect. They are the reigning defending NFC champs for a reason. A team that won't be reigning defending NFC champs anytime soon, Cowboys, false. All right, so the defense is going to be good with Zimmer. They do have some solid personnel, but I don't think that they're as good as the Week 1 score indicated. I think the Browns were just absolutely caught flat-footed and just garbage. Offensively, I mean, Dak got paid, CD got paid. There are some questions along that offensive line. I don't believe in Zeke. I don't think that he can sustain that for a full season. I think Brandon Cooks is kind of interesting, but overall, like, does this seem like a team that could contend for the NFC East and then just bow out in the first week of the playoffs? Yes. I think that's where they're currently at. Speaking of which, number 8, the Lions aren't frauds. That's false. So they needed 17 injuries to the Rams' offensive line, and also Puka going down mid-game, and they needed Stafford to have a drop on 3rd down for the Lions just to win in overtime. Also, no Aaron Donald for the Rams. So they got that going for them. But, I mean, they're a tough team. They can run the football. I still don't trust Dan Campbell as a game manager. I know that he's just like, go for it, blah, blah, blah. But Ben Johnson is still the brains of that operation. Defensively, I mean, the secondary is markedly better because it couldn't have gotten any worse. But, I don't know, like, it's Aiden Hutchinson against the world for that defense. Number 9, the Bucs are for real. That's true. And the Bucs and the Lions get in on a rematch from the playoffs week 2. So that one's going to be a test. And I've always said, like, I have respect for Todd Bowles. That defense is fantastic. I think that they have something in Bucky Irving. And also Baker, got to respect. I mean, Baker was out there just dropping bombs. He looks comfortable. He's even though they lost Dave Canlis, I think that the offense is continuing rolling on. Chris Godwin is healthy. Mike Evans is a top 10 receiver of all time. So the Bucs are going to be tough, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Bucs take on the Lions and they just boat race them. Not going to lie. Lastly, number 10, Chiefs are still the team to beat. Yes. And now they got Xavier Worthy, so they have that speed element back again, and it's just frustrating, man, because that Chiefs defense is really good. Hats off to Steve Spagnuolo, because, I mean, the way the money is dispersed, like, a lot of it is on the offensive side of the ball, except for Chris Jones. But they've been able to assemble a very tough, physical, and very, very disciplined defensive unit. All right, it's like Andy Reid. How about that D, baby? He's not wrong. He's not wrong, man. And Mahomes obviously is still going to be Mahomes. So here we go again. But that's it. True or false around the NFL edition. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.